Hey guys, it's Steven here, back with another video. I'm going to try something very different today. I want to run through 10 of the very best academy prospects and those have got the best chance, in my humble opinion, of breaking through to the first team. But before I go too far, I want to say thank you to Unibet for once again sponsoring this channel. And they've got an excellent transfer blog going at the moment, covering all the latest transfer news and loads of opinion pieces as well from some very good writers, including a couple of good friends of this channel like Stephen Tudor. He's got an excellent piece currently at the moment about Kevin De Bruyne and why he's absolutely amazing. So go check it out in the link in the description below. It's fantastic, I promise you. But today, we're going to run through loads of academy players. Now, I want to add the disclaimer. Initially, it's not possible to cover everyone. Obviously, of course, there's loads of players that some people would put on this list that I haven't. They're going to be covered at the end and a little bit in the other section. This is just my opinion. And I tried to keep it a little bit fresh and interesting because what's the point in doing the exact same list as everyone else? But I'm going to start initially with Adria and Bernabé. Now, this is not in numerical order in terms of most likely or anything like that. But I want to mention certain people because, I just think they're fantastic. And Adria and Bernabé is very much in that category. The 18-year-old Spanish midfielder, he's an absolutely excellent, most exciting prospect. Now, you all saw what he did on the pre-season tour in general, and you've seen little bits of him here and there. And what I like about Bernabé is not that he's just so technically brilliant. He's one of those players that actually looks better around better players. That is a rarity. Most players, they show up a lack of technique or ability around senior players because they're not quite as good and look a little bit lost. He's the kind of player that actually looks better at senior level than he does with the academy teams. Now, don't get me wrong, he's obviously pretty decent every now and then at academy level, but he's not really shone in the way that he could do. Having said that, I'm a big fan of his, and Guardiola is also allegedly a big fan of his, has him around the first team quite often, and was really impressed with the contributions he made last summer and this summer too. A very exciting player, can actually play as a midfield as a number 6, that's where he was at Barcelona at one point. He likes playing as a number 8 as well, which he got a little bit of game time there as well in pre-season, and we know he can be out wide on the right, cutting in with that incredible little kind of dribbling technique he's got. Very exciting player, and one rightfully on this list. Number 2 is a name that most of you probably wouldn't have heard of. It's Joe Hodge. He's a 16-year-old Irish number 6, a defensive midfielder. And he's just become an underrated scholar this year. He's only absolutely tiny. He'd played plenty of games last season for the under-18s, but I didn't realise he was still only an under-16 at the time, which made his achievements all the more impressive. Joe Hodge is a fantastic little footballer. He was a big part of the Irish under-19s run to the Euro semi-finals during the summer, but he was absolutely excellent in that holding midfield role, dictating from deep. A lot of people have compared his style of play, I'm not saying it's his level, of course, his style of play to Marco Verratti. And Verratti is obviously an absolutely fantastic footballer, so he's anything like that, we're in for a treat. I have seen bits of him as well for the under-18s when he broke through a little bit last year, and he's a very technical, very neat, doesn't give the ball away, and he's very tenacious, a proper bulldog of a player. He is only tiny though, like 5'5", very, very small, which obviously encourages the Verratti comparisons. But this guy is one I've been excited to watch the under-18s regularly, and I can't wait to see what he does this season. Technical, skillful, an absolute heart, a giant heart in the sleeve kind of player. Tiny and young as well. He's one to watch out for this season. Next on the list is Jeremy Frimpong. I really like this lad. And now, obviously, he was absolutely instrumental in the FAU Cup run last season, and he was at times the best player on the pitch. He was genuinely brilliant and fun fullback. The guy, obviously, stopping attacks with all his pace and dynamism, but also leading us on the front foot to get forward. Absolutely driving forward with so much pace and so much close control. He's almost like a natural winger as well. And what I like about him is he's played at left back and right back, despite being right-footed, and looked equally comfortable. It was very close with Frimpong in terms of him and Dionco. Dionco actually went on the first team tour, and I think Frimpong is probably a slightly better player, but he doesn't have the physicality Dionco has at the moment. Dionco's been in good form as well. I understand why he wasn't there, but I really like this lad. He is actually related to the ex-Arsenal guy as well, the ex-Arsenal Frimpong. I think he's like a cousin or something like that. Either way, he's an 18-year-old, very talented, very skillful, very creative, very enjoyable fullback to watch. I really like him a lot, and hopefully he's got a very big future in the game. And kind of the person who maybe could get a game every now and then in the Carabao Cup or something, fingers crossed. This guy obviously had to be on there. Eric Garcia, fresh from an incredible summer with Spain, winning European trophies. He's on that list, of course. I think he's 18 still, probably 19 very, very soon. A Spanish centre-back, classy, composed, elegant. We already know show that Guardiola really, really likes him. Given the fact that they've got only 3 current senior centre-backs at the moment as it stands, Laporte, Stones and Otamendi, with Vincent Kompany gone, this could be a season where Eric Garcia genuinely steps into the 4th centre-back spot. He was fantastic at times last year in the Carabao Cup games when he played, and yes, the level of opposition wasn't that high against him, but he was just so composed, so mature, and he was leading players around the pitch. There are some question marks maybe about his physicality, but he seems to be growing a little bit. He's getting a bit stronger. He's obviously getting a little bit wiser to the way that people play in England, and this is a player that rightfully turns heads. He's just elegant, he's classy, he's a leader, he's inspirational, and a fantastic footballer. I'm almost certain Guardiola has very big plans to actually integrate this lad, and rightfully so. After that, we've got Ben Knight, another that was involved with the first team. He only got like a few minutes, unfortunately. He got in one of the games. It was literally just a very quick run out. He's only 70 years old. We signed him from like a year ago from Ipswich for like 400k or something like that, maybe rising to $1 million. A very gifted, very creative little playmaker. He's probably a while away from the first team, but what I like about Ben Knight and what Guardiola probably would like about Ben Knight is his heart and his desire, and also his very, very intelligent movement. He's the kind of person that needs to keep a very close eye on Bernardo Silva and David Silva to watch how they move and influence the game across the front line. He spent a lot of time last season during the FA Cup on the right wing, scoring goals from that position. And even though he's not like a really fast dribbler, and even though he's not big, he's quite a small, slender guy, he seems to have a very intelligent way of affecting games with his movement, his creativity, his passing, and his finishing is absolutely excellent. Ben Knight is probably a little bit way away, but he's a very exciting prospect, and we should definitely be excited by his development. Next up is the second right back on the list, actually, Alpha Dionco, if that's pronounced right. Hopefully it is. He's a 17-year-old Senegalese right back. He has also represented Spain at youth level because we got him from over in Spain initially. But this guy is a bulldozing, rampaging right back. There are some areas he still needs to improve in, but the fact that he's already been in the first team squad during the tour shows that Guardiola does rate this lad, and rightfully so. He got better and better as last season started developing. And he's had some great international performances as well recently for Senegal. He's a very good player, very, very fast, very powerful, already absolutely huge, which definitely really helps, I guess, against some of his peers when he's a lot bigger than everyone else. He's a very exciting, bombarding fullback whose first thought is to get forward, and he has the pace and the physicality to get back and defend as well. Dionco is the kind of person that I can imagine getting a Carabao Cup at some point, run out, especially if like one of the fullbacks isn't available. He's the guy I can imagine being next in line. Next one is a bit of an interesting one, really. Most of you wouldn't have heard this guy. He's a 16-year-old Australian-English box-to-box midfielder, Alex Robertson. This is his first year in the under-18s, and this is a guy that I know the scouts at Manchester City and I know the coach at Manchester City are very, very excited about. Basically, we got him just from under the noses of Manchester United only about a couple of years ago, and he's made a huge impression on the coaches at academy level with his very complete midfield game. What I like about this lad, from the very small clips I've seen him, and being totally honest, I'm just very excited to watch him in general this season, is his complete game, his dynamism, he's willing to burst forward, he scores loads of goals. The amount of times I saw the under-16s listed as winning like 7-0, and Alex Robertson has scored a hat-trick from midfield and got a couple of assists. A bulldozing kind of real dynamic player. He's been called up for England at youth level and he's played plenty of games for them. He's actually from Australia, I think, as well. At some point he's been there. He basically played for loads of teams to do at youth level, but this guy is a guy I can't wait to see watch for the under-18s this season. Obviously he's not close to the first team yet, but he's the kind of person I can imagine having a Tommy Doyle-esque season like he did last year, Tommy Doyle, and being on the periphery next season, pre-season. This guy, as we all know, is an absolute shoo-in for this. Taylor Harwood-Bellis, 17-year-old Stockport lad, 7-year-old centre-back, Stockport fan as well, I think he is. In general, he's a very, very exciting prospect, alongside Eric Garcia, one of the young centre-backs that we've got that can genuinely take a spot, the fourth choice centre spot, with a little bit of luck. I suspect he'll be around the first team once again this season. He left an almighty impression of Pep Guardiola during pre-season, and he played 90 minutes in the first game, the only player to do that, and got plenty of minutes as well in the rest of the games. Even though the senior players started to take over, he still got on, and Guardiola obviously is a big fan of this lad, and rightfully so. He's big, he's strong, he's very cool, he can possession, he obviously can handle the physicality, and he's only 17 as well. He's got loads of room for improvement in a good way. So is Eric Garcia, and we've got this young centre-back pairing now. They're both excellent last season FA Cup, who can grow together at EDS level, no doubt. And fingers crossed, a couple of them can get some games in the Carabao Cup. I think this guy coming through is one that City really want to happen. He's skillful, he's homegrown, he's got absolutely loads of potential. Next up is the recently turned 17 Morgan Rodgers. This is the guy that caused loads of headlines during the summer. The winger from West Brom. He's already made his professional debut from West Brom. I went all lispy there. He made his debut for West Brom last season, coming on in one of the, I think it was a cup game, was it a league game? Either way, he's a 16-year-old, and he's the guy that basically people have been getting very, very excited about. The rumours are it's around $3 million that we signed for him, and he's a very, 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 very exciting prospect. A goal-scoring, clinical, intelligent, brutal winger. What I like about him, from what I've seen of him, is that he genuinely bullies defenders, but he's not overly big. He just bullies him in a confident, composed way. He's got such a clean strike on the ball. He's such a natural finisher. He can step past people with ease. He can create goals. He's the kind of person, but basically, people get very excited about. Maybe not quite the Sancho levels, but people say he's very much close to that. A lot of people are very knowledgeable about youth level international football have said he's possibly the most exciting talent in this age bracket that England have got, and now he's a Manchester City player. Such a skillful, such an exciting winger, and one that's 100% going to light up the CFA this year. Can't wait to watch him in action. And finally, and obviously not at least, is the one that most people are most excited about, Tommy Doyle. And why not? The 17-year-old central midfielder was a revelation once again on the preseason tour, alongside the likes of Taylor Harwood-Bellis and so on. And I can't wait to watch how he develops at Manchester City under Guardiola. Absolutely brilliant. A player that City's coaches and academy staff have been so excited about for such a long time now. Not just because of his blue heritage and all that. He's obviously, if you don't know, the grandson of Glyn Pardoe and Mike Doyle, two Manchester City legends. Both of his grandparents are genuine Manchester City legends. He comes with that same heart and desire that they've got, and obviously the same football pedigree. He's a winner. He's simply a winner. He's captained England at youth level throughout the ages. He's captained his youth teams constantly. He's a fantastic, bustling, all-action central midfielder, and when he gets going, he just reminds me a little bit, and I'll say this quietly, a little bit of Kevin De Bruyne. He hasn't quite got the right foot, and who has in general, but if he's going to train around the first team and learn from the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, the sky is genuinely the limit for Tommy Doyle, a Manchester City fan with two legend Manchester City players for grandparents, and potentially around the Carabao Cup team this summer. I can't wait to watch it happen. He's by far the one that I want to see break through, despite how good the rest of them are. But that's it, unfortunately, for this list. Now, there's absolutely loads of players. I can see you already screaming at the screen going, where's all these? And the likes of Claudio Gomez, for example. I didn't want to put him on the list because I thought, if anything, I think Tommy Doyle is a more exciting player. I genuinely believe that. And Claudio Gomez's development has slowed down a little bit at the moment. Even though he's probably just outside this list, I didn't want to go for it. The likes of Paveda as well. I personally don't think he's got a chance. I think he's kind of missed the ship a little bit. I don't think he's quite as good as Brahim, as good as he is, and Brahim wasn't quite good enough to get regular games. I think he'll go out on loan and probably be the last chance we see him around the first team. Felix Lemaitre was nearly in this list, but I wanted to put Alex Robertson in just because I think he's a little bit more, well, I'm just excited to see him. This is my personal list as well, so could not wait to watch him. And Matt Smith, in my opinion, is a bit of a dark horse. If he has a great season at QPR after having a fantastic season at FC20, he could come back maybe in the summer and impress people during the pre-season maybe. Matt Smith is fantastic. Luke Bolton as well, a player that we all like and saw last season. He needs a good loan move now. He can maybe impress some people. Luis Fiorini is a Manchester City fan as well. A guy that might have even been on this pre-season tour if he didn't have a really bad injury. He's a very intelligent attacking midfielder. He can score goals. He scores plenty of goals, in fact. And he would have been one that maybe had a chance on this list if he'd played a lot more football recently, but didn't quite make it for that reason. Rowan McDonald as well, a really likeable Manchester City fan once again as a number 6, strong, tenacious, can play at centre back, a very good holding midfielder. Maybe he doesn't quite have the dynamism to his game to make this list, but he's definitely got a chance. Then there's the likes of James McAtee for the under 16s, a fantastically gifted player. I've not seen loads of him, but I know the coaches and people around the game are so excited by this young lad. They put him nearly at Foden levels of ability, so we'll see how he gets on, but I didn't put him on there because I couldn't profess to know enough. And there's Lati Bodier, if he can get his career back on track after all the injuries. Ike Pozo, very good. Nabil Touazy, loads of players, but I couldn't list them all. Anyway, guys, that's just my top 10. Let me know what you think of that. Let me know as well if you enjoyed this video, because it's quite fun doing something a little bit different. Now, there's no guarantee that any of these will make the first team, but these are just 10 that I think have got a chance with a little bit of luck, a little bit of hard work to maybe break through into that first team over the next few years. Fingers crossed, just 2 or 3 of them make it, and I'll be a very happy man. Guys, if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I make loads of Manchester City content. I'll be making loads throughout the season as well. Thank you to all these guys. These are my patrons who keep the channel going. You're all absolute heroes. Go check out some of the other videos I've done recently. I won't be doing content over the weekend for the Liverpool game because I'm away at a wedding, unfortunately, in Spain, but there'll be more content with opposition previews and all that kind of stuff. But for now, I'll see you very soon.